I have a music theory. I got into a rabbit hole yesterday when it comes to music and shit. And I want to talk about music with you guys because, like, I kind of have the theory where I think something's about to pop because we're in a really weird spot with music. Now, a lot of us, a lot of wedding DJs I know, a lot of us are all complaining about the new music, have been since the beginning, right? Trap sucks, mumble rap, yada, yada, right? I'm on both sides. I like a lot of trap, right? I like a lot of the new stuff, not new, but I like a lot of all that. But like, I definitely think it's getting old, right? It's like both sides. But like, we're in such a weird spot with music. I think it's like almost unprecedented. Okay, let me explain. Did you see the Billboard Hot 100? Okay, We Don't Talk About Bruno has been number one for 2 weeks in a row. Okay. 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, the top artists are these people. Make-believe people, okay? Make-believe people are number one on the charts 2 weeks in a row. Make-believe. Animated characters. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, Nick, Disney has had number one shit forever. Like, where you been? Remember all the movies, blah, blah, blah. Like, Disney's are always on the chart. Remember Let It Go, all this shit. I know what you're thinking, okay? But you're wrong. It hasn't. You know what the numbers are? The facts? There's only been one other number one Disney song ever, and that's A Whole New World by Aladdin. Banger, by the way. 1993, and it was only number one for 1 week. 1 week, that's it. This is number one. These people, 2 weeks in a row. First time it's ever happened for a Disney animated song. 2 weeks in a row, okay? This was 1 week. The movie was hot, okay? Robin Williams was the shit back then. So he made the movie crazy too, being the genie and all that. That was just a different world back then. And they had the number one spot, won real quick. But it's still crazy to even happen back then. The other songs like Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Elton John, banger, legend of a singer. Only hit number 4. Let It Go, that everyone quotes, right? Let It Go is so big. Only hit number 5. Beauty and the Beast, number 9. Circle of Life, number 18. Even You'll Be in My Heart, the legend Phil Collins, only peaked at number 21. And in my opinion, okay, maybe I'm just older, but in my opinion, all these other, Disney songs, I don't like Let It Go. It's after my time. All the other Disney songs, though, they're bangers. They're way better than the stupid We Don't Talk About Bruno song, okay? Never peaked. So why is that? So I'm thinking, well, if this is our chart, I mean, first reaction is like, maybe music just sucks now. So that's the only, a Disney song's number one because music sucks now, right? So the last time there was a number one song, A Whole New World, number one in 1993, what did the charts look like then? So I looked it up. In 1993, these are the top 10 songs, okay? A lot of I Will Always Love You is number one, so super slow song. Whoop, there it is, banger, tag team. French Vanilla, Rocky Road, right? Randomly, one of those guys hit me up to help them with their camera. One of them, I forget which one, he emailed me. He's like, hey, I'm so-and-so from Tag Team. Could have been a total fake, but it didn't seem fake. And I was like, yeah, I'll help you with your camera. And he never emailed me back, and that was it. It was like total random email. Anyway, so whoop, there it is. UB40, Janet Jackson, the Silk, Freak Me by Silk, a little bit Mariah Carey. If I look at this list, how many of these songs do we still play, right? How many of these songs are still relevant? I Will Always Love You, it will last forever, right? Whoop, there it is. We still kind of play that. Rump Shaker, I still kind of play. UB40, if you're on the beach, Freak Me if it's a certain, but like there's not a lot of this, there's not a lot of bangers on this list. So then I'm thinking, well, is history repeating itself, right? Right now in 2022, we have a Disney song number one, actually 2 weeks in a row, which has never happened, so it's even worse now. The only other time it happened, 93, there wasn't a lot of bangers on the charts. So then I tried to think, all right, well, what was happening back then? Like, was there like a shift in music? And there was. I mean, in 91, Nirvana came out with Nevermind. Smells Like Teen Spirit. All that shit, right? And it might have come out number one, but it didn't pop off until months later, right? Like nobody gave a shit about this album until like everybody underground liked it or whatever, grunge. And this literally started grunge music. They claim, like it was one of the main ones to start grunge music and all that. And it didn't gain popularity until 92, 93. So that was a whole new era of rock and roll or, whatever, like music that was emerging. And by the way, How bad would it be to be this guy, the dude that was like actually on this cover? Like, imagine being 30 years old and your greatest achievement was having your dick out on the Nirvana cover when you were like 2 months old, just drowning in a pool with your dick out. Like, imagine being that guy. Like, I feel bad for this guy. He's like petitioning to have his dick removed, like just like the one that say like, I want my dick off the cover. I'd hate my parents. But anyway. So this is happening, right? So the whole grunge scene is coming up at this time. And then you know what other music is absolutely changing at this time, right? Right around 93 when Disney's topping the charts. Hip hop, okay? December 92, The Chronic drops. Wu-Tang. Enter the Wu-Tang dropped in 93. Some of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. Think about this. A Tribe Called Quest, 93, right? Doggy Style came out in 93. Nas, Illmatic came out in 94. And then Biggie in 94, Ready to Die with Juicy and all that shit. Gangster hip hop emerged out of this, right? Because before, the 92, 93, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I get it. I'm young. I was a baby during this time, so I wasn't there, but I do a lot of research. I like to know kind of how all this shit works, okay? So if I'm wrong, just totally correct me. But like, I think that like all this emerging music was coming out and hip hop was changing. Before this, you had Rob Bass and Sugar Hill Gang and Run DMC. You know what I mean? It was more like not cheesy hip hop, but that late 80s, kind of poppy hip hop. Whereas like gangster rap emerged. And I also know that like when a lot of these albums were coming out, right? Like all these albums were coming out, they weren't being played on the radio when they came out. A lot of the radio stations wouldn't even play them. They were super gangster and like crazy. So it was like an underground thing. A lot of this stuff, they all went platinum and were a big deal later on, but not until later on. Like it was just for a long time, to my knowledge, this was like an underground movement. People were into this shit and it was great stuff and some of the greatest stuff ever, but it wasn't quote unquote radio. Like it wasn't quote unquote like being promoted by anybody yet. Okay. It wasn't in the mainstream yet. But then fast forward a couple of years, right? More in the mid 90s, late 90s, all of a sudden we saw a huge change in music between grunge, rock, and hip hop. And I'm sure some other shit changed, but like those are the two I kind of like, know about. Okay. So give me any other examples you want. Very interesting. And this all happened around the same time in 1993 when A Whole New World was number one. On top of that, have you guys seen the Atlantic article? Is old music killing new music? A lot of people were sharing this article. Super interesting article. If you haven't read it, definitely read it. I'll link it in the description. Very interesting article, okay? 200 most popular tracks now regularly count for less than 5% of total streams. And it says this rate was twice as high just 3 years ago. It means out of all the shit that's streaming online, that you stream online, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff, less than 5% is quote unquote new shit. And I think what they mean by new tracks, I think it's like came out in the last 18 months. So I think it's a technical term. So they could be streaming shit like 2 years old, but the numbers, they're saying that it's a lot more like just older tracks. People are just listening to older music. That's why you see, and they quote in the article too, you see like these record companies, they're buying up all these old catalogs because that's how they're making money. I think they're sounding the alarms at the record companies. I think they're absolutely sounding the alarms. I mean, look at the 2021 chart. So this is the same, like this is the top music from 2021, right? So top 10. Levitating, Save Your Tears, Blinding Lights, Mood, Good For You, Kiss Me More, Leave the Door Open, Driver's License, Montero, and Peaches. What's missing from that list? Anything missing? A trap song. I don't see one fucking trap song. Top 10 from last year. Let's go to the other 10. Let's go dig. Let's find some kind of rap song, right? 11 through 20, Butter. Oh, I hate BTS, by the way. Stay, Deja Vu, Positions, Bad Habits, Heat Waves, Without You, Forever After All, Go Crazy, Astronaut in the Ocean. So all the way at number 20 is our first hip hop song. You could say it's trap, I guess. It's not really like, it doesn't sound like, it's more like hip hop, but more pop, kind of catchy, hip hop, not really like trap to me. To me, trap is like Super Gremlin, like Kodak Black. That's trap music, like to me. But not one trap song. Top Topped the charts for last year. Pretty crazy. I think trap's dying, people. That's what I'm getting at. I think trap's dead. I think they beat it to death. And this happens, I'm not picking on trap. This happens with every genre of music. When genres of music, they come out, they get hot, people beat them to death, and then they die, okay? Famously happened with disco. Famously happened with EDM, okay? The 80s sound had to die somewhere. The genres come out, it's great, people love it, and then you get so much of it, and then eventually it just dies, and it's gone. And I think that's happening with trap. And it's also very telling that out of the top 10 songs from last year, this top 10 list right here, there's 3 songs that I can definitively pick out that sound older. Okay? Save Your Tears and definitely Blinding Lights, like the Weeknd shit, has an 80s vibe. Like, it has 80s vibes. I mean, Blinding Lights was compared to that Aha song. You know what I mean? Take On Me. Very similar. They both have 80s vibes. Good For You. 2000 punk Avril Lavigne vibes. Right? And then Leave the Door Open, Silk Sonic, and their whole album, straight up 70s soul. Okay? They literally marketed it like that. Straight up 70s soul. You could also argue a couple of these kind of sound certain things. But, 3 out of 10 have definitive sounds that come from other eras that does not sound like new music to me. That, like, if I played it for somebody, and you had no idea what it was, you might guess that it was from those eras. So I think, personally, record companies are throwing darts. They're trying to see what sticks, okay? They are sounding the alarms. They're buying up older catalogs because that's what people are streaming and listening to. That's what is going on, a lot of commercials and stuff still. That's where the money is. It's the older stuff because there's no real good new music. And I think it's just a lack of direction. I think they beat trap to death. And, and pop too, pop will slowly kind of evolve. But I think right now, we are in the in-between stages, just like we were in 93, 94. I think right now there's underground music coming out right now that we don't know about. That may be the future sound of hip-hop, the future sound of pop. Maybe even rock will reemerge because rock hasn't done shit in forever, okay? There hasn't been rock hits since Daughtry and Nickelback, I feel like it. There hasn't been shit, right? I think we are in a transitional period. I think music's going to suck for a year or two, but man, there's something coming, okay? And with that being said, if you guys know about anything coming, if you know anything I don't know, you got any tips, okay? If I'm saying this to you and it's kind of ringing a bell and you're like, you know what, I was just listening to this kind of music I thought was kind of crazy, send it to me. weddingdjtips@gmail.com. Reach out to me. Let me know. Give me your tips, everything. I want to discover what this new music is. I want to kind of preempt what's going to happen in this industry. I'm very, very interested in this. I got in a huge rabbit hole. I'm going to continue to research. I just think it's interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments too. I don't know. Maybe I had a tinfoil hat on just then, but it's crazy. It's crazy what's happening. Okay. Fact that there's a Disney song in the top 10. Not just a Disney song, by the way. 2 Disney songs. You see the Surface Pressure? That's another song from the same damn album. I mean, just look at this. And then end of rant. Okay, just look at this list, okay? We don't talk about Bruno. You got Easy on Me, which is the same sad-ass song from the new Adele album. The whole album came out. The whole thing flopped. None of it barely charted, right? So it's still Easy on Me. I can't believe it's still on the thing. Heat Waves is from 2020. It's an old-ass song, okay? Stays from last summer. Super Gremlins from last fall. It's just another trap song. Nothing special in my opinion. ABCDEFU. That's just basically a pop song. It's about hey, everybody you love can go fuck themselves except for your dog. He's cool. Whatever. Okay. That's all that is. Shivers from the Ed Sheeran album. Old in my opinion. Last summer, I think. Surface Pressure is from the same Disney album. Push and P is the only song from 2022. Okay. The only song on the top 10 right now from 2022. That's because everybody's online talking pushing P, pushing players, pushing profits, whatever the hell P stands for, whatever, P means what you think it means, I guess, or it's one of those, I don't know. And Need to Know. It's also from last year. Charts and shambles, people. Let me know what you think though, okay? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I just got a tinfoil hat on.